Okay, this video I'm going to show you how you should go about working your homework and how to use the program in which your homework is located. It's called Accepi. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and change this to student view so it looks like what you can see. And let's go ahead and go to the syllabus. I have the link located there for the software you're going to use to do your homework. And it's right here in the syllabus. Again, just go to the syllabus link, scroll down until you get to required materials and equipment. Click on this link, and it'll bring. And the first time you go in, it's going to ask you. Now this is going to bring you automatically into my course. You should see financial management, FINA 5133, which is the course we're in, right? FINA 5133, and it's going to take you in there. Fill that in. Use your student ID number here. Here you want to use your RSU email. Okay. That way, sometimes I have students get married or they use the wrong name. So make sure it's very important. Use your student ID. Add your RSU email. That way I can know it's you. Put in a password that you remember. Remember, if you change your if you forget this password, I cannot help you. I'm not going to know your password. I have no access to it. So you need to write that password down and be very careful with it. All right? You accept your terms. This is a very reasonable reason I chose. One of the reasons I chose this is very good, and it's also only $10 for the semester. So it gives you instant feedback. You probably, hopefully you'll like this. Okay? So I'm going to go into existing user because I'm already registered. And I'm going to switch this to student view again. So this is what you're going to see when you go in. After you've registered, paid for your course, you're going to see this. This is FINA 5133, Fall 21. And it says here, please note on each module homework, which are these, and also the exams, you're required to upload any work you do into My RSU. Your work should be on an Excel workbook with separately labeled worksheets for each problem. Exam questions are chosen directly from homework. So when you go into this homework, this may seem a little bit daunting. There's 35 different problems here. Some of them have this one, like this one has 7 parts. But they're designed to be little bite-sized chunks, right? This is probably one of the longer homeworks, this first one you have to do, so I suggest getting started on it right away. Okay? You can the homework you can do these problems as many times as you want. I will not deduct points, okay? And you'll see that, like I say, it may seem daunting, but once you get used to Excel, if you've never used Excel, it's going to be a little bit more daunting until you learn Excel. But once you learn Excel and get used to Excel, it'll be easier. Okay, so let's just go ahead and I'm going to show, like I say, I want to show you how to do this. So this is Module 1, homework, and it's over Chapter 2 of your textbook. So I'm going to go ahead and click on interest rate. That's my first problem. So here's my first problem. So the way I want you to set this up in Excel, let's go to Excel. Now remember, if you don't have Excel, let's go back to the syllabus. You see here it says Office 365 free. You can, if you're a student here at RSU, you have access to a free copy of Office 365. You can install it. Let me click on it. Up here, it says go to office.com, get 365. You click on that. And you would log in with your student email and your student ID. That's going to allow you to go in there and get access Office 365, and there'll even be a spot where you can, well, let me log in here. I'm going to log in, dejunk, get started. I'm going to go, I'm a teacher. I'm going to sign in. And you sign in with your RSU credentials. And I've already signed in, and you can see up here you can run Excel from here, but also I suggest installing it on your computer. You can install it up to 5 different computers. Okay, it also it should show your email in here too. I'm not sure what it looks like for a student. Okay, so anyway, now we assume that you have Excel, and I'm going to go down here. I'm going to type EXC, start typing Excel. I'm just going to hit enter, and Excel should come up. Okay, now I'm going to go blank workbook, and I'm going to go File, Save As, And I'm going to go ahead and save this into a folder that I can find it. I'm going to go to my classes folder, and I'm going to go Fall 21 RSU Finance. And I already named, well, let's just name it. We'll just say Module 1. Module 1 homework. Something you'll remember, okay? Now, you don't have to put your name on here or anything, because when you upload it to my RSU and you're done, it keeps, I know who you are, right? When I go to grade your homework, I'll see it. And I'll know that, whatever. So whatever you name here is something for you to remember. So I'm going to go save. And then I'm going to call this, now this is very important. So this is a workbook here, and you have worksheets down here. I can add another worksheet by hitting this plus sign. But I'm going to go here to sheet 1. I'm going to double click, and I'm going to call that Module 1, Problem 1. Okay? So you show every problem you work out, you want to have it in a separately labeled worksheet. Okay? And now let me go back. So what I did is I hit alternate tab. That's a good shortcut to go back and forth, alternate tab. And I'm going to go to alternate tab, and I'm going to go Window, Shift, S as in Sam. I'm going to hit all three of those, Window, Shift, S. And then I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to go alternate tab. I'm going to paste this into Excel, just so I can work with it here on Excel. Let me make it a little bit smaller because I want to zoom in so you can see it. And when you do a problem in my class, I'd like you to do it this way. I'd like you to go what you're given. So this is all the information that comes off of the problem. Okay, and this is a time value of money problem. But so I'm just going to go here. All time value of money. Usually I kind of know how they are, and you should probably do this for like probably the first chapter. Most of the problems should be solved like using this. N is the number of periods, R is the rate, PV is a present value, PMT is a payment, and FV is a future value. So these are numbers on any financial calculator or any program for time value of money problems. It's usually going to have these, some combination of these 4 or 5 things you should address. So in this case, you have $1,000. So you're going to invest $1,000 and you want to buy a car for $20,000. So if you're going to invest it first, you're going to put it in the bank. So it's going to be money coming out of your pocket for $1,000. So you're investing $1,000, and in the future, you want back $20,000. Okay. So this is a negative cash flow. It's money coming out of your pocket. In the future, $20,000 is coming back, right? You're not making any payments. This problem doesn't mention any payments. So I'm going to put 0 in here just to remind me that no payments are being made. You know, I'm not making like yearly payments along the way. And I'm going to do this, it says here, for 7 years in part 1. 7 years. And then it says, what interest rate do we want to earn? And then they're talking annually what you need to earn. Okay? So, let's and then you should double check your numbers. So I have 7 for 7 years. Rate, I don't know the rate. The present value, now this is very important because if I would put a positive and a positive, Excel was not going to be able to compute this. One of these has to be negative, one has to be positive. Money has to flow in. You can't put money in and then put more money in, right? And then calculate the rate on that because it can't compute it. You have to have money, or you have money, you can't have money, you can't get money and then get money. That doesn't work. Well, I'm going to have the bank give me $1,000 and then $20,000, and then in 7 years they're going to give me $20,000 more. Well, what is the bank getting out of it? You have to invest $1,000 and then get, okay. Does that make sense? All right, so then we're going to go find. Excel pays attention to these cash flows. Now, if you're doing this as math, you don't need to worry about that. Like if I get an equation, I'll show you the math way too, but I'm going to do the Excel way first. So we're going to find R. And then for a solution, I'm going to use the Excel function called rate. Okay, and I'm going to go equals rate, and then it's going to show me down here N per in bold. Okay, so what's the number of periods. Now at this point, if you need Excel to help you a little bit, when you put an Excel function in here, after you put this first parentheses, if you hit this f of x up here, it's going to explain what each function is. N per, payment, and when you click on it, it'll tell you what each thing is, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and cancel because that's not how I do it, because I know this function already. And then as this kind of the cheat sheet, it tells you in bold the first argument it wants. This is called a function argument box, okay? But I already know that the first thing it wants is n per. So n per is a number period, so I'm going to click on it. Now I'm not going to type 7 in here for number periods. That's not right, because I'm going to use what I have given up here. When you're doing things in Excel, you shouldn't be typing numbers in here. You want to have them somewhere on the spreadsheet, and then you click on that cell. Or you could type in B2. But instead of typing B2, it's just easy to click on that. And then you're telling Excel, go to Excel B2 and use whatever's there. Okay? And then the next thing in bold, I'm going to hit comma, and then it advances to the next argument. And that's in bold here, and that's for the payment. Well, the payment's 0. I could just go like this, and Excel's going to skip the payment because it's not in this problem. But this is just for clarity's sake. Let's go ahead and just click on 0. And then I click the comma, and it advances to the next argument, which is the present value. You see that's in bold here, and the present value is right here. I advance to the next argument. Now, if it has the little brackets around it, this means it's an option, right? And so the future value is I want to have $20,000 when I'm done in the future. Okay? Now, the type, don't worry about the type in this problem. When you need it, you'll figure it out. And Excel has to guess to figure this out, but if you don't guess, this is going to start with 0. So at that point, I can close, because I don't need to guess. We'll just assume it's 0. I can close that, or Excel's smart enough, since this is a built-in function, I can just hit enter at this point, and Excel's going to know, oh, you're done. Let me calculate it. And then we can take this out a couple places, and that's the answer. So what I can do is I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna copy it, and then hit alternate tab to go back to my problem. I'm gonna right click and go paste and submit. And it says it's correct, and it gives you the solution. It shows you how you could do it on the financial calculator if you'd like. Now you should be doing this on Excel. You should practice this on a financial calculator if you have it, because you might want to know how to do it. But I require you to turn this spreadsheet, this worksheet in as part of your grade, right? So so this is really what I want to see. But I suggest, I highly suggest you try a financial calculator. Those are very handy, right? In fact, this isn't even a financial calculator. This is just using the formula. I guess I could show you how to do that. But anyway, while we're here, let's just go ahead and copy that. I'm going to go Windows Shift S as in Sam. And let's just copy that solution in there, because all these homework problems, I choose from them for the exam, right? So, oops, let me go back again. Let me try that one more time. I'm going to go Windows Shift S as in Sam. Highlight this to snip this, alternate tab to go back, Control V to paste it. And then, so now I have the solution for my reference for later, right? So we know it was correct. It told us it was correct, right? So let me show you alternate solution. Well, you know what? I'm not going to show you this way, because it tells you how to do it, how to plug it into the algebra equation. One thing you notice, remember I told you don't have to have this negative when you're using math, when you're using the algebra equation, because it's math. Math doesn't know anything about finance. You just plug it in and it'll come out, right? But like I say, when you're using Excel or your financial calculator, you need to pay attention to the cash flows. All right, so let's go back again, and it says next problem. So now we're on to problem 2. So I'm going to go ahead and go Windows Shift S. Problem 2. Alternate tab to go back here. I'm going to go to a sheet here. I'm going to double click down here. I'm going to call this problem 1-2. Okay, you need to have your work very professionally labeled, right? So you see how. Now, one thing I'm going to know, when I look at your homework, I'm going to go like this. Yeah, I'm going to be able to see if you used equations and if you reference things, right? I can really quickly look. So you don't have to, but for our purposes, I'm going to show you how to do this. You can go formula text and this, and I'll show you the formula. You don't have to do that, but I'm just doing that for learning purposes. And it's always good to highlight the answer. So when I'm looking at, so this is what I expect to see when I go look on most problems. I expect to see given, find, solution. I expect to see a formula. Right here, I want to see a formula in here. I don't want you to, if I just see a number typed in here, I'm going to say, well, I don't know what, they just looked at the solution and typed it in and typed in the answer, right? They just typed in this 53. So that's going to tell me you did anything. It's going to tell me you know how to type, right? So I want to see that you did something here. So you're not going to get any points. You're going to, if I go into, like say you did all your homework. If I go into 3 of them and I find all 3 of them you typed here, I'm not going to check the rest. I'm just going to give you a 0, okay? Because it's not worth my time. Because I took a sample and I looked at 3 of them. 3 of them you just typed the answer in here. Well, you get a 0. All the work you did is going to be for nothing because you didn't use a formula here like I asked you to. Okay? All right, so let's go into the second one and we'll zoom in. And this is the beauty of Excel. I can go back to here. I can reuse this, right? So I'm just going to take this and copy it. I'm going to go into here. I'm going to paste it. And then we can start again. You invest $400. So I'm investing $400. And we will make that negative because I'm investing. It's coming out of my pocket. And the rate is 2%. So this is slightly different. And it says annual rate. So I'll go annually. Here's annual rate just to remind me. And we know in the future I'm going to have, I don't know, it doesn't mention a payment. Okay? It says 5 years, so I'm going to go up here, I'm going to go 5 years. I spelled rate wrong, I forgot the A in here, didn't I? Annual rate. And, well the payment, since it didn't mention the payment, we'll just say 0, because that's not mentioned. Okay, normally if it's, this could be monthly or annually, but anyway, so what do we want to find? We want to find the future value now. So I have to change this to future value. And so I'm going to go here. This is what I want to find. And then here I'm going to go equals FV for future value. All of these, this is called N per on Excel. That would be the function if you want to find the number of years. Rate. So let me just show you. Well, let me finish this first. Okay, so the first thing it wants is the rate, and hit comma, and then it wants a number of periods, which is, whoop, this is the rate, right? Let me go back. First thing it wants is the rate in bold, so I'm going to click on the rate, and then comma, and then it wants a number of periods. I'm going to click on the number of periods. Then it wants the payment. I'm going to skip it this time just to show you can skip it if it's 0. And then the present value is this. Yeah, I hit enter, and it gives me the future value. And I'm going to go equals formula text so you can see the formula. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to go Control C to copy it. I'm going to go back to and I'm going to go Control V to paste and submit. It says enter numbers only, so it doesn't want that $sign, so I'm going to go ahead and just go up here and delete it. I'm going to try it again, submit. And it says it's correct, and it gives me the answer. So I'm going to go Window, Shift, S, and Sam. And I'm going to copy this over here. Alternate tab to go back. Control V. I'm going to go here and drag this to make it smaller. So that was the solution to that. So now it shows an alternate way to do it here, right? Let me just show you how you could do it alternate. So I'm going to go alternate solution. Now you don't have to do it both ways. If you do it, as long as you do it on Excel, that's all you have to do. So your solution does not have to be the solution that the book shows. If you got the answer, that's perfectly fine, and I'll give you full credit. So let me just show you this way. So they go year, and I'm not going to make that bold. So you can practice their solution to see if you want to. So I'm going to go 0, 1. Oh, 0, 1. And then go out to 5 years, because this problem is 5 years. And we have the future value. Okay, so the year one, it starts out. Now I'm not gonna use negative here, so I'm gonna go on negative this to make this. Now negative is a positive, so I want to make that positive. Let me put the formula in here. I'm gonna go Control C to copy this formula down here. All right, so the next one is gonna be equal to this $400 times parentheses 1 plus the interest rate. Now I'm gonna copy this formula down, and I always want it to point to this interest rate, so I'm gonna hit something called F4. And F4 makes sure that when I copy this down to 2, 3, 4, 5, it just always points to that 2. Now I always wanted to point to the one above because it's going to use the one above to get each year. So it starts with, so this first one's going to be a little bit different because I'm going to start with 400, but then this one is going to start with whatever is above. This one's going to start with whatever is above. And anyway, this makes sense. I hit Control, or I hit, so this is the formula. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. I'm going to do a little bit different from the book. And let's go ahead and I'm going to take these, I'm going to take them out 2 places because, and then let me show you what this is. And then I could copy this all the way down. Copy this all the way down. And I got the same answer here, right? Now another way they did it, I'm going to do it the way they did it. They go equals this, and I'm going to go ahead and F4 that. Well, let's not use that. I'm going to say a negative. I'm going to use whatever we're given up here. I'm going to assume we don't have this here. So negative this times parentheses 1 plus this. I'm going to F4 it. And I'm going to take it to the 0 power. Okay. And I'm going to take it out 2 places. And let me copy this formula text over here so we can see what we're doing. Now if I drag that down. Oh, no, what I do wrong? It's giving me an error. So negative B4. Oh, well, I need to make sure that that always stays here, so I have to hit F4. Because I always wanted to look at the 400 the way I'm doing it this way. And if I drag it down, and I get the same answer. Okay. So there's 3 ways to do it. So I just showed you any way of these, this is an alternate solution too, right? I'll say this is textbooks. Okay, so I showed you 2 ways I might solve it, and then I showed you the way the textbook solved it. So very quickly, I just worked this out 3 different ways, didn't I? So as you can see, I realize, hey, you're an expert at Excel. That's why you're doing it so fast. But I want you to become an expert at Excel too, right? So, all right. So let's go ahead and hit Alternate Tab to go back. And it says Part 2. So I'm going to go Window Shift S. I'm going to copy this. Alternate tab. Then let me paste this down here. Make it a little bit smaller again. And that's probably too small. And I'm going to go Part 2. And then, now this is what's nice about Excel. I can go ahead and just copy this. It's probably going to be very similar. So I can copy everything if I want, right? I can go copy. And you don't have to do the work again. Excel is very nice that way, right? All I have to do is change this to whatever this Part 2 has. So now it says this is 30 years. So everything else is the same, but this is 30 years. And then now now it's just showing how to do it. Now since I copied everything, it's actually just reusing my work, and I just changed, since I did this, my assumptions are up here. I just changed one of the things in my assumption. It should calculate it the same way, right? Now this isn't going to work because I have to extend it down to 30 years. I'm going to drag this down to where it says 30. Now what I did is, I don't know if you noticed, I gave Excel, I'm going by 1, so I had to highlight 2 of them, so I go 4. Because if this was 4, 6, then it'll go by 2, right? So you have to give Excel, what are you doing? Excel's got some intelligence built in. So I highlighted it 2 to give it an idea to increment by 1. So now you just copy this down, and then I'm going to copy this format because I don't want this all highlighted. So I'm going to go Format Painter, highlight all these except for the last one. And you can see that answer is the same. Remember, you only have to do this once. I'm just showing you how easy this is. And I can copy this down, highlight my answer, double click to send this down, and there we go. So I just did this problem 6 times, right? Very quickly. So you want to reuse things you have, right? So I reuse this and just retype my number. So I reuse this to do part 2. I reuse the whole thing. And like I say, you only have to do one of these ways. As long as you figure out how to do it, that's fine with me. All right. So let me show you one more thing here. Let me go alternate tab. You can like say I didn't put the answer in here, did I? So I'm gonna go right click copy. I remember from the last time that it doesn't like that $sign, so I'm gonna remove the $sign. I'm gonna go submit, and it says it's wrong, right? So after 5 years, it was part 2, right? So I made a mistake. So I'm gonna go try again, and I want to go to part 2, get that problem. Control C, alternate tab, Control V. I know it doesn't like the $sign, so I'm going to remove that. Submit. Okay, now it's right. So it still gave you all the points, right? You just went and retried, and it gave you all the points. Now, one thing it has these little things, these little helpful things here. This is for another textbook, and I wouldn't look at this unless you really need to, because it's not has to do like I would go refer to your textbook, or look for a YouTube video that I made. Or now remember, you can request a YouTube video if you don't understand how to do something. I'll make another short little video like this if you're having a problem with one of the problems. But as you can see, I was able to retake that, and you can actually retake. I believe you can retake the whole quiz if you want to, right? But I gave you 30 times in order to try it. If you want, if you can't do it in 30 tries, then you can go ahead and ask me, and I can reset the whole quiz if you want. But hopefully you'll get it in 3 tries. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go back out to so I can come back in here later and work on it. If I go back in, it shows that I did the first 2 parts. I can go ahead and jump on the next one. So if you get stuck on a problem, you can go ahead and go back out to finance. You can go work any of these and just go back and work on it later, right? So if I go alternate tab to go back to Excel, I can drag these tabs different, have them in order. I can drag these tabs around too. Once I've labeled them, I can drag and drop them. Like, oh, I want that here, I want that here. So when I insert a new one, I can drag it here. We'll call that 1-3 to the next problem. So remember, I want this workbook submitted. So hopefully this is making sense. I know I'm going kind of quick here. All right, so let me go show you one more type of problem. Let me go to, let me see if I can find one here. Just give me a second here. Saving for retirement, no. Oops. Let me go to another assignment. I'm gonna go back out here. Okay, so here's one where it gives you some data, and you have to calculate off this data. Well, this is very nice too. So this is out of module 6. Okay, so I don't want you to do. I want you to do a new worksheet, but I'm just for clarity, I'm just going to call this 6-7. I don't want more than one homework on a worksheet. For homework 6, I want a separate workbook, right? So don't do what I'm doing here, but just for clarity's sake, I'm labeling this. And then what you can do, I'm going to go Window Shift S as in Sam. Pick this up. alternate tab to go back to Excel, paste this in, and so let me zoom in a little bit. So you don't want to have to type this, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to alternate tab to go back here. A lot of times what you can do, you can highlight them like this. And then while you're on one of these little blue things you highlighted, I'm going to right click and go copy. I'm going to go alternate tab back here. I'm going to go Control V. I'm going to put this under given. So it allows you to, so it keeps this for you, right? I don't need this stuff here. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to highlight, move it over one like that and say, yes, I want to replace it. So now I have this. I don't need this 1, 2, 3 ABC, right? That's right. That's already here. And then let me, I'm going to get rid of this row. I got an extra row. Let me go delete, bold and under. So this is what I'm given. And then I want to find, and I want to find, it says, what is the arithmetic average for stock B? Okay, so for a solution, and I'm going to go equals, so I don't have, well, I'm going to go equals this. What I could do if I want to, I'm going to double click here, and I'm going to move this little question mark over here. Yeah, I'm going to calculate the arithmetic average for both of them. Why not? So I'm going to go equal. I'm going to go average. And I'm going to highlight these 4 stocks, or these 5 stocks, and go enter. And it already says their rates of return, right? And then take this out 2 places. And then drag that across. So this is what they wanted, so they want these, right? Let me put the formula in here. But you never know. Later on, I might want something for stock A, so I might as well calculate. It's not that much harder to calculate that. So this is stock. Let me move this down 1. I'm going to take this whole thing, drag it down. I'm going to go equal stock A. Enter. Oops. Equal stock A. Enter. And drag this across stock B. Make that yellow. So this is the answer. I'm going to go Control. I'm going to click on it, Control C to copy, alternate tab to go back, Control V to paste it in, submit, and it says it's correct, and Windows Shift S. Click that. Alternate tab to go back, paste the solution in case this comes up on the homework. I'll have it all nice so I can go review what I did and when I did this problem. You know, you keep all your Excel problems. And then let's go ahead and do part 2. And alternate tab to go look at it now. They want the variance for stock A, Windows Shift S. I'm going to copy that. Alternate tab to go back. Control V to paste this in. Shrink it down a little bit. Maybe we want to put part 2 a little bit lower because I don't have room. So let me just drag that down here. And we could use this information again. Well, really, it's asking for the variance, so we're going to have to reuse. So how we do the variance? Well, let's just copy all this. Copy. Paste it in here. And so now they want the variance for stock A. So I'm going to click on here. I'm going to go variance stock A. And since I went equals on here, it automatically changes here. I'm going to take this. I'm going to highlight these 2. I'm going to go Format Painter and click here to get rid of the white. I want the answer here. And now I have to put variance, right? So I'm going to go equals variance So it says, do you want a variance of a sample or a population? Well, this is a little sample, so I'm going to use it. Whoops, I don't want covariance. All right, try that again. Variance. Oh, var. Var is a variance. So I'm going to go var sample, var s, and then I'm going to highlight these numbers, close it, and then hit enter. And they want for stock A, so it's going to be these two, right? Be careful here. This should be variance also, right? So I don't want that. I can now what I can do, I can just go like here and copy like a non-formatted one here and do that, or I could just go up here. I want that shaded. I want no fill. White. You think you go here, but it gets rid of the border. If you look down there, see there's not a border around it. This is how to change it back to white. Okay. All right. So so the answer is 1.86. So I'm going to go Control C for copy, alternate tab to go back, Control V, submit, and that looks like it's correct. And now it's asking for the variance for stock B. We already have that here. Control C, alternate tab, Control V, submit, and it wants a standard deviation for stock A. So we're going to keep going. These are all very easy. I'm not going to keep going because I'm not going to show you how to do all the homework. Yeah, you can research how to do some of these. But as you see, these are they may seem quite tedious, but we can solve these problems very quickly as you go. And some of them might be a little bit repetitive, but that's okay too, right? So anyway, so this was part B. You don't have, you want to be organized, but it's nice to, like I say, if you have an exam, if you're organized, you'll be able to see what you did, right? So variance for stock A was here. So it asked for part 3 and 4, we could highlight these, window shift S. Alternate tab, paste them in here. So now we know this was that, right? And we can paste these solutions in too. It shows you the solution right here, doesn't it? They use var.s just like I did. Okay, so anyway, so now if I try something and I get it wrong, I go submit, it's going to tell me try again. I can go see solution, and I can still try again. So how hard is that? I mean, it's telling you what to do, and then you just try again, right? I suggest not looking at the solution first and doing it. Try to do it without looking at the solution. You're going to learn a lot more if you try to do it without looking at the solution. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. That's it for this video. Remember, I have, if you go look here, there's under forms, there's instructor's virtual office. So I encourage you to ask questions in here. This is ungraded, but I want you guys to help each other here. This is your tool to help each other. If you don't get any answers within here, I'm really kind of bad at checking this, but you can email me and say, hey, I asked a question in instructor's virtual office. Can you go look at it? So if you don't get any help from your fellow students within a couple days, or within, a day or two, let me know and I'll go look at it, right? But shoot me an email. I'm not ignoring you on purpose. If I see it, I'll help you out, but I don't always. I teach a lot of different classes and I forget to check here sometimes. So if you shoot me an email and say, and in the email, make sure you say that's FINA 5133, what section it is. I even have more than one section of 5133. So I have a lot of different classes. So, in the subject line, go FINA 5133, section whatever. I'm working on this problem. Be specific what problem you're working on. Could you give me some guidance? And if you can, even attach the Excel file on what you did so far, right? So I could look at what you did. It's going to save me time, right? I can go look and say, oh, they just did this. I'll shoot you back the solution, what I think, and then we can go on, right? So be very specific. That helps me. All right, so that's it. Hopefully this video has been helpful. It's probably been a little bit long. How long did I take?